stress to the head. I'm tryna do more for the soul, way less for the bread. Yes sir, I take pack to the lung, kill the stress to the head. I see the things that they do way less than they say. Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out. Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out.
Yet, brother.
Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out. Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out. Can't be a real, might get you canceled. The whole system need to dismantle. Coppers treated like the utmost wanted. Tryna rule the block but don't know what goes on it. News got a story with a new take on me. Carrying out the window with the screw face on me. But I know that God love me when my burn 95 degrees and I can't get sunburned. Wonder when your government don't make me legal. Burn the whole city if I can't be equal. Get off my please, Brad, I earned that. 400 years, how you still ain't learned that? I take pack to the lung, kill the stress to the head. I'm tryna do more for the soul, way less for the bread. Yes sir, I take pack to the lung, kill the stress to the head. I see the things that they do way less than they say. Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out. Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out. Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out. Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out.
We are back. We are back with Brother Neil Frazier, one of the most powerful brothers on the internet right now. His words, his research, his actions, what he does cuts through all of the foolishness and the crap that's out here online. I want to thank him for being here. And for those who don't understand, once you listen to him, you will understand. We broadcast across several platforms, some that are familiar with us and some that are not familiar with us, and quite naturally may not agree with what Brother Neil Frazier says. But if they can have the ability to digest it, they will understand what he says. But we know there's going to be some confusion there and some rabble rousers, but we're going to steamroll them and run over and share the truth anyway. There's no way that I've been working all morning on the computer getting all these things together and Brother Neil Frazier won't deliver, because he will deliver. And that's why I work so hard, because of my family here, my family in America, globally, worldwide, my family who has a consciousness that's above and beyond the foolishness that many of us who are melanated digest, that they put out there on YouTube to keep us apart. Our unity strikes fear in the heart of the enemy. And once we unify, their grip on us will fail to be successful. Brother Neil Frazier, I'm going to open up this camera right now so you can begin. I've been working all morning, so I'm going to chill out here in the shadows.
Okay.
You're back. I mean,
good place to be.
Like the fruit of Islam is standing behind Minister Farrakhan. Trust me, even though you don't see me, I'm right here and I got your back. Let somebody make a move and we're going to get them before we can even do it. Welcome, brother. You look well.
Thank you look like you're
and we're glad to see you and have you back here. I'm so enthused, brother, for the work that you do. And I'm appreciative of being the platform that you chose to put it out on, because I'm just a plate. You're the main meal and you're the food. So serve us, brother, with the nutrition that you have.
Yes, sir. Well, wow. Well, I tell you, after that introduction, you know, as always, I'm looking at the door, because if somebody else is walking in here, they need to come in right now. But thank you, Brother Lance, always for the kind words. Glad to be able to share with the family again today. This topic is very important, near and dear to all of us. One of the things that's always said when we begin to talk about our history is, oh, they're talking about plantation and slavery again. Yes, Yes, because this history, as we'll see today, is the one that has our people in the condition that we're in today. We're not going to let you forget it. This is why you don't want to teach real American or US history, is because you want to sweep all of the evil deeds that have been done by a people who claim to serve a God that we are serving with all the fervor that we have in our communities. But we know from the records, and that's why, I spend a lot of time researching, because I know that the people in the system that we are fighting against work day and night. Okay, and this is why I'm so thankful for a brother like Lance, who matches and goes beyond their efforts in order that we don't get blindsided and bamboozled. So when you look at the history of certain people, they glorify this history. It's constantly being told. It's in their history books. Their children look up to these stories. And, to a degree, I don't have an issue with that. But we're going to point out and bring out our history. Okay. And anyone that has a problem with that, that's your problem, not ours. So I want to greet the family in the chat room. This is always the highlight of my week, sharing with you guys. I know that we all are fighting the same battle against the same people and the same system that tried to bury our ancestors. And that's why today we're paying homage to our great ancestor, Frederick Douglass, because he, like many of our other ancestors, stood up against this system, okay? And he fought for our people just to have basic human rights. And I was listening to, incredibly, we still have people alive today, or that was alive, I shouldn't say today, but a couple of decades ago, who were actually slaves. And one of our celebrated brothers, Fountain Hughes, he gave a great narrative about life on the plantation. Now, Fountain Hughes eventually escaped and went to Baltimore, and his story is told by Black historians. But the thing that Fountain Hughes talked about was that and this history is very important for our people to know, for our young people, for us to know. We need to dissect this history and look at it for what it is, because it still affects our people today. You have people saying, "Oh, well, you wasn't a slave. My daddy was. I've been in Beaufort, South Carolina, on a plantation. So was Joe Frazier's father. So I know our history. So I don't care what you say. This history is on record." And Fountain Hughes was talking about how, he had to work all day from sunup to sundown. And then at night, they wanted him to hang the tobacco to dry. So, here's a man that was afraid to say he was tired, because if you said you were tired, then they would beat you again like they whipped animals. So I don't care what nobody say. We're going to talk about this history, and we're going to talk about this same evil system, this communist manifesto that Karl Marx correctly identified as capitalists against the labor force. Our our subject today is the truth about black male unemployment, incarceration, and the plan to destroy our masculinity. We're going to deal with three areas today. One is the history of black unemployment in the United States, which they always use this figure of 7.3%, which is a lie, and I'm going to show it to you today, for blacks, and 3.4% for whites. We know that we're always the last hired and the first fired. Okay, and we know that they had a system of a house nigger and a field nigger. Okay, and this created class warfare within our own people, within our own culture, and it still has. Okay, then we're going to look at the history of incarceration in the United States. We're going to look at the ghost of the plantation, okay, and how these laws and how this evil system, followed our people way beyond the 1900s. Okay, the last thing we're going to look at is the attack on black masculinity, which is the Hollywood mentality that all of our people are stuck on now, the unnatural narrative that comes out of that. And also, we're going to look at the wrong frequency that we are functioning on right now. So let's look at the origins of black male unemployment. One of the statistics that really jump out at you, and this is from the Center for Economic Research, that $30 billion in lost revenue happens to the black community every year. Okay, and that is because of the gap, the employment gap. Okay, if this gap was closed, then that $30 billion would be gained by our community. And see, these are the type of statistics that we need to constantly examine, because it clearly shows you, okay, why black people are in the position they're in today. And they can call it a victim mentality or whatever the hell they want to call it. Okay, but we know that this is truth. So you can use all these lies that you use, okay, to try to make it seem like black people are lazy, that black people don't want to work, that black people just want to, get high or drink or do whatever. But we know clearly from the record that you are the one that established this and is still affecting generations of black people right here, right now. Okay, so the official unemployment is underreported. Why? Because you have millions of black males that have stopped looking for employment. Okay, and this is close to a decade now. All right, so if you don't officially go and register, and again, I did my own research on this, personal research about how this is done. If you don't go and apply for a job and you're not on record, then you're not counted. But we know that our primary labor statistics comes from the Bureau of Labor Statistics. And it goes a step further than what the Center for Unemployment Statistics said. It said that it is 4 times that the unemployment rate for black people is 4 times higher, and that there is an annual loss of $50 billion in revenue. Now, think about that for a minute, okay? Because if you were playing in a game, okay, and you started out 100 points behind, you're going to lose that game. I don't care how good your team is, okay? So whenever people use this narrative to try to say that black people have as much opportunity as they have. They know this. They read these statistics. We don't. A lot of us don't. But they know these statistics. They know the origins of it. They know why it still exists. And they lie about the fact that they don't know that this exists. Okay. So they said that the Bureau of Labor Statistics said that the unemployment rate is 4 times higher for black people. So whenever you see that, then you have to double it. So it's basically 8 times higher, which is like a third world country. Okay. So millions of black men, as I said, are not counted. And what happens as a result of this loss of $50 billion in revenue in our communities is you have depressed communities, okay? Because in a capitalistic society, if you're unemployed, if you don't have any means to get the money, the fiat currency that they use that have held our people in captivity for 400 years here, then you're going to do something, and we're going to cover that as well, because this is how black men are pigeonholed into criminality. Okay, and this is no secret. Those that study this know this. The people who work for them, for the government and for these different agencies, they know the origin of this, which we're going to uncover today. Not only do you have depressed communities, but the corporations, they suddenly leave. And see, this is how they underdevelop our communities, like they did the motherland. They take all the resources, they use the people, and then they pack up and leave. Now, one of the things I was very surprised about here in Oakland, the Warriors left and came to San Francisco. The Raiders left and went to Vegas. But I was very surprised that the A's now are planning to move too, because the fan base for the A's has always been so loyal, just like with but these people care nothing about loyalty. Why? Because the majority of people that live in Oakland that counted on where these organizations, professional organizations, made most of their money off of our people, okay, they just up and left and held them whole in the bag because they want to undermine the communities where we live. Many of the black and brown people depended on, they did the vending at these different games. Okay, and this was a lifestyle because our people have learned in this system how to hustle and how to do things that they need to do to survive, feed their families, have a good quality of life like they deserve as every other person on this planet. So we know that this is a ploy to underdevelop the neighborhoods where our people come from. You can deny this all you want, but the proof is in the pudding. Okay. The other thing that happens is, well, what I just explained is that the corporations move out. All right. You don't see any major corporations in our communities. Okay. And there's a reason for that. So looking at the unemployment numbers again, okay, black people are the only group of people that are consistently in double-digit unemployment. So again, and all other groups of people are below 6%. Now, again, when you look at, they're saying 10.3%, then honestly, as hard as this is to believe, you have to double that when it comes to black people. So a realistic unemployment percentage for black people is close to 20%. Okay, and this is how they decimate our communities. The other issue we're facing right now is that most of the jobs that Black people do have, okay, in these corporations can now be done by AI. So we're going to see a lot of the low-level management in these corporations who are Black. You're going to see them being phased out because there is another evil scheme already on the horizons, and that is drugs and criminality to support all of the private prisons that they're building in certain communities, okay, who are going to benefit from the revenue coming in from those prisons. They're going to benefit from the tax base, the structure from the federal government, okay, and they're going to benefit from jobs there. So we have a situation where the plantation now is going to be set up again, because the majority of people that will be watching over our people while they're incarcerated, let's face it, are going to be white males. It may be some white females. You might have a sprinkle of Black and brown guards here and there. But for the most part, we're going to be back in the same situation. And this is the goal. Okay. So now on November of 2022 is when they reported that Black men, okay, no. So Black men are at an astounding 11% unemployment rate. And again, I say that when you see this, you have to double this, okay? Because you have millions of Black men who have stopped looking for work. I talk to them all the time, okay? They have stopped looking. And because they have to go through this system that they have established now, where you can't go directly to the employer. Okay, you have to go through these algorithms and these people who hate our people and want to demasculize us, particularly Black men. Because if you live in a capitalistic society, you're based on your productivity, okay? Or you're based on the fiat currency that you can generate. There's no way around that. And they know this. So let's look at some statistics that support this from the Bureau of Labor Statistics. As of November 22nd, Black men, again, they use this figure. Black people, unemployment rate is 10.3%. And that white men who are high school dropouts, okay, make more money than Black men with degrees. Okay. Now we know. Let's look at what I mentioned earlier about the drugs and how they use drugs to set up our men and our young men. Because contrary to what you believe, this country is fueled. The economy of this country is fueled by drugs and crime. And if you don't believe it, just go look at the statistics. Okay. So how this plays out is, first of all, let's go back to, and before I talk about how this happened on the plantation moving up to the Jim Crow laws, I'm going to talk about the brief history here with our people, okay, and housing and economics, and how this all ties together with drugs and criminality. Okay, so the government created the ghettos and projects, the big projects that you see on the East Coast. The government created that to warehouse Black people. Okay, when we first, came out of the condition that we were in. But something interesting happened, that in 1968, after the murder of Dr. King, Congress initiated the Fair Housing Act, which in theory, okay, is supposed to create a scenario of equal housing, which we know was just in theory. Okay, so HUD, the major government housing institution, created redlining through urban renewal projects, which is really black removal, like James Baldwin taught us about. And then they built highways right through black communities, so they always knew what side of the track you were on. And this is when they began this attack through toxic water. Many of these projects had old pipes that were rusted, that had lead in them. Okay, asbestos. You know, all of these attacks. If it wasn't for the fact that black people have melanin and have a strong organic system, they would have taken us out a long time ago. But they found out that that was impossible. You cannot destroy the original peoples of the planet. That is impossible. Now you might be able to, and I'll use one of the things that Fountain Hughes used when he was in slavery and getting ready to come off the plantation. And one of the owners was talking to him, and he felt kind of, you know, the owner, I don't know if he felt like, well, he was losing free labor for one. So this is probably what caused the contrition a little bit. But Fountain Hughes looked at him and said, well, first of all, you don't have the right to tell me that I'm a human being. Only God has that right. Now you can take away my ability to live as a human being, which they certainly did, but you don't have the right, okay, to tell me that I'm a human being, since now all of a sudden you're gonna look at me that way. when my daddy, my mama, my grandparents, this is Fountain Hughes talking, me, all of us, my sister, my brothers, all of us grew up as slaves, and we were treated as such. So, in other words, miss me with that. I'm not trying to hear that. So, they created, through HUD, they created economic segregation of our people through the banking system. So, they set up what they call the homeowners loan maps. Okay, I've seen the maps, I know how they look. Okay, and then along with that, the government set up what they call a residential security maps. Now, this is where you get the term redlining from, because they had 3 color codes to distinguish, to separate these 3 housing areas. The first one was green. That was where all the wealthy white people lived. Even if you was black and had money, you couldn't live there. Okay, and those communities were separated from all other communities. Okay, the second one, color code, was blue, and this was, you know, the church going, nice white people with the nice schools in suburban neighborhoods that they established for them. That's what the blue code was. And the red code, or what they used to call the nigger code, is is where you get the term redlining from. So any black or brown people were basically put in that category. Now, I don't care who you are or what culture you think you're from, there are only 2 ways that they look at this: melanated and unmelanated people. So regardless of what category you want to put yourself in, you go ahead and do that. Okay, because the white people that set up this economic segregation, The only thing they cared about is either you were black or white or brown. Brown comes under black, or is produced from black, and so is so-called white. But just by the mere color of your skin, okay, so we know based on the law of vibration that people who operate off a sight, okay, and discriminate off a sight are basically vibrating at the lowest level on the planet, okay? The other thing that happened was when black people started getting to the point where they could move into the middle class, because now here's something our people don't know too. The majority of black people make under $40,000 a year. I don't care what they tell you. They can show you this small percentage of black people who have been able to go through their system and get what they get. Okay. So one of the ways that black people were able to now move a small percentage to move into the lower middle class neighborhoods out of the projects and the ghettos, okay, let's call it for what it is, was basically through the house nigger system, okay? Because
Exactly.
yeah, that's the only way you're gonna do it. Yeah, go ahead, brother.
I'm gonna run for 5 minutes and be right back. So that's all I'm gonna say, just in case you know. All right.
Okay. All right.
Continue. This is beautiful. This is sweet.
Yes, sir. Okay. So they, they have a problem dealing with truth. Okay. Because you have a people that can't come to grips with their own evil. They don't want to repent, but they're telling you to go to church and repent every Sunday or Wednesday, whenever you go. Okay. But you have not repented from the most evil crime ever committed in the history of mankind. And I'll debate anybody over that. The most evil, cruel, you have not repented. I don't know how you can go into a church saying that you're kneeling down before the Creator. I just don't know how, or what you call God. I don't know how you can do this. And more so, I don't know how our people can do it. I mean, it's amazing. So, so once, you see black people being able to move just a small percentage into the lower middle class, and that's all it takes, because you see this to this day. If black people move into a predominantly white neighborhood, they are going to be terrorized. Okay, I don't care what nobody say. This is still happening in 2023. So what happened to this? When Congress instituted in 1968 this Fair Housing Act, what happened? Did it benefit our people? Let's look at the record from the Fair Housing Authority. In 1998, the record shows that 98% of HUD government loans that was instituted by Congress for equal housing was given to white citizens for the next, get this, 30 years. So now, these people play a lot of games with these lies, okay? But now, you took 98% of HUD loans. Okay, so you can't say anything about black people being on welfare, food stamps, any of that stuff, okay? Which we know the largest group of people that are on food stamps and welfare is white women with children. Okay, we know this, the statistics, I've read it. Okay, so we're not gonna play this little boy, little girl game that you play with our people anymore. Okay, 98% of them for 30 years. This is where this tremendous wealth gap and income gap was created that we will never be able to close. Okay, so what happened was also the quality of the schools were determined by this class structure, okay, and this economic segregation. All right. So, okay, so the government sponsored these institutions of poverty, okay, and their plan was to contain Black people in certain neighborhoods. Now they can just go by your zip code because they know you can't live in certain other zip codes because the bank is not going to give you, I don't give a damn who you are. You know, there are certain neighborhoods you just are not going to be able to move into. And this is similar, okay, to the destruction of Black civilization, okay, that Chancellor Williams was talking about. This is actually, it's the same thing. This is, you know, what they have done. This is on the record. So we see again, I was talking about how the two major sources of income in the United States is drugs and crime. Okay, so what happens? We know that the crime is established for the private prisons, and we know that the drugs is what's established to incarcerate our men. Okay, so there was a professor from UC Berkeley, Troy Duster, I believe his name was, sociologist, that talked about this structure, okay, and this drug trade. And he gave a brief synopsis of the hierarchy of this drug trade. And I remember my brother who was in the military. This was in when did he come? 1982, when he visited me. He said, now my brother was a military police for the Air Force, and ended up drinking himself to death because many of them, you know, went through hell in the military, still being treated like dogs during that time. But he said something to me that was fascinating at the time. But what I since found out is true. He said that the military are the largest drug dealers in the world. I was like, what do you mean by that? He said, because we guard the planes. I was like, oh, really? Like, yeah, that's what, as military police, that's what they did. Okay. Now, but they were under the direction of, get this, people who were in our government that had the ability to have the drugs bought here. And they were targeted for our community. I believe I mentioned in the last video, and I can't think of the guy's name, but he was killed for bringing out this information in his book. Okay. So whenever you try to destroy the truth, okay, it comes back at you 100-fold. You're not going to be able to bury this evil history and then degrade our people before the world on TV every day like we are the culprits. No, you are the one that established this system. Black people are not that evil to establish a system like that. Although a lot of us now are following this system and doing these things that are not in their hearts. Okay, so this professor from UC Berkeley wrote this book on drug hierarchy, which at the top of the chain is the international cartels. Okay. Then you have the international distributors, okay, which again, it has to be people at a level where they can bring it through customs, they can bring it into the country, they can do whatever without paying any consequences for that. And then you have the international bankers, okay, who laundered this money. None of them are black. Okay, so you see, you can paint this picture all you want, but we know the truth. Okay, none of them are black. There are no international black bankers. Okay, and they don't do any jail time. But now he talked about how the black and brown poor kids shoulder this so-called war on drugs by being incarcerated. Now, as I said, this fuels the private prisons in the U.S. economy. It's a billion, I believe the last number I saw was a $50 billion industry. I think it's a whole lot higher than that. It's got to be at least 100 billion. So this is the plan to keep our young men unemployed. A lot of our sisters, a lot of them, they get jobs, okay, but again, the plight of black men and black children is directly tied to dignity. We cannot, our women cannot look at being successful when black men and children are catching hell from the system. And I know, and I know that a lot of black males are responsible for the way that our sisters look at this. But we got to reverse course. We got to find a way to reverse course, because now this AI system again is going to devastate our communities economically. I mean, devastate them. If you remember back, I remembered when our people worked in these factories and these industries in the cities like Detroit, and then you had Bethlehem Steel in Baltimore, and you had these different industries that our people worked in for decades, built families, and then they pulled the rug from under them. Okay, by shifting the economy of these industries into something else, and this is what they're planning to do. The racism is built into the algorithms, okay, because those algorithms have the ability to look at several different factors to determine your race. Okay, trust and believe. I was looking at how these different computers, once they do the data mining and they get all that information, they can look at 100 different factors and bring them all together, so they know who you are. So let's stop playing this game. So now that we've put that out there, that we've covered this modern history of how this game is played and what they did to our people, let's go back to the roots of it. And I want to talk about the Great Migration. Okay, this is very critical, because it was during this time that and I can remember, because my brothers. So I grew up in Savannah, Georgia, very racially segregated city, and all of my older brothers left before they was like 16 or 17. My oldest brother went to Harlem. One of my brothers went to the Bronx, and one of my brothers went to Baltimore and Chicago. And this is how I was able to escape that Southern plantation mentality that destroyed a lot of our people. And so we're going to talk about this great migration that took place amongst our people, because this is something another thing they want to talk about, they don't want to talk about, is that, okay, our people, when they came out of slavery, when they walked off those plantations with zero, okay, The Jim Crow laws were instituted in order to psychologically um, make black people feel inferior. Okay, so most of our people in the deep South, okay, in states like Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi, Arkansas, the Carolinas, am I missing Tennessee? All of these southern cities that built their wealth off of the plantations, okay, they fought hard to keep black people from migrating north. I remember one of the slave narratives, she was talking about how the white people would be at the train stations with guns looking for any black people that were on the trains headed north, and that a lot of the black people were hid in hay or hid in different, compartments of these. That's where they get the term hobo from. Anything to, degrade our people who were trying to do anything to get away from this evil, this hell on earth. So this is why they have you talking about heaven, because they keep you in hell here. So our people, like the story of Moses, yearn for this freedom. They yearn for this deliverance from Moses. Okay, and these stories had a major impact on our people. So as sharecroppers, after they came out of slavery, they made $1 a day, picking cotton, all right, or doing or tobacco. But in the North, if they could get to, and I want to focus on Mississippi because Mississippi is a state that is still rooted, okay, in the hatred of our people and trying to turn back the clock on our people. But Chicago was the black Mecca for our people in Mississippi. If they could escape to Chicago, then they knew that hell was behind them. At least the hell in the South was behind them. So what happened was our people knew that if they got to Chicago, they could make 40, 50 cents an hour. And this immediately changed the condition of our people. Not only that, they was released from this psychological terror, because the other thing they would do is when black people wanted to leave, they would threaten them saying, okay, boy, I heard that you trying to go to Chicago. Said, but if you do, I'm gonna kick your wife and kids off this plantation, your family, and they're gonna be destitute. See, this is the type of evil that they don't want to talk about, that our people faced. Now imagine the type of strength that it takes. Okay, they don't want white kids to know this. They don't want black kids to know this. They don't want brown kids to know this, because they want to be looked at as this savior, that everything they got today is from their hard work when they didn't do any hard work. Okay, so let's get that straight right now. So the other thing that they did to our people, and this is the part of the psychological terror that they used on our people, was that they had this thing called convict leasing, which is the forerunner to prisons and incarceration. So what these evil plantation owners would do is, if you did something, it could be like you found something on the ground and you wasn't supposed to have it. Okay, and they say, okay, you committed a crime. All right, then they would lease you out to another plant. Because remember now, a lot of our people still had to live and work on these plantations because they had perpetual debt once they got out of slavery. And whatever food so they said, okay, well, you don't eat free no more. You got to pay for this. You got to pay rent for that same little slave quarter you used to live in before. Okay, you got to pay rent with that now, for that now. So this is how they got our people in a perpetual debt system. Okay. And so this forerunner of the prisons called convict leasing, then when you release to another plantation owner, you had to work for how many years it took for you to pay that debt off. Also, this is where they begin to use lynching again as a form of terror to keep our people in place. Okay, so we see that this was a calculated, or this is a calculated system that's designed. Okay, it came from the top, from the government. Okay, that benefited white people because they had 98% of all the resources. Because our people still had land when they came off of these plantations. They owned land from our ancestors before these people came here. They took their deeds. Many of I was listening to a story where this brother was in tears. He was saying how they did their people, and that how they black people would have to sell their property that was worth $200,000-300,000 for $2,000-3,000, because if they didn't, the white people would, mainly males, would terrorize them, the Klan. So this is another form of thievery or fraud, where they basically defrauded our people out of their land. All right. Now let's talk about something. The other thing too is when people from Georgia, Alabama, the Carolinas, when they started moving to the big northern cities like Philly, Baltimore, Cleveland, what's the other one? Gary, Indiana. Some of them from the East Coast went to Detroit. What was the other major city our people went to? I mentioned New York City. It'll come back to me. But so when our people moved north, okay, then they ran into the four areas that I'm going to talk about in a minute that still affect our people today. Okay, so when they went to these big northern cities, they had to face police brutality. Okay, that was the first one. The other one was employment. That now they face situations where they wasn't able to get jobs. Okay, then it was education. Many of our people at that time, because they were not allowed to read a book, somebody could quote scriptures to them, they couldn't even read the Bible. Okay, and the only other book that well, the Bible is the main book that they could sit down and somebody could quote scriptures to them, but they were forbidden to read anything else. Now imagine this, going north, many of our people had to begin to be educated like they were in the first and second grade. See, this is the thing that they did to our people that they don't want to talk about, and then they get mad when we talk about it. So I don't care if you get mad. Okay, this evil that was perpetrated upon our people, there is a divine retribution that's coming for this. So you can sit around and discuss whether or not you're going to pay reparation, all of that, but you're going to see. You're going to see. You're not going to escape this judgment. Okay, and you can treat black people as bad as you want to. I don't think you could do anything any worse than what you've done, but you can continue your evil and see what happens. Okay. The other thing that happened was that the destruction of the black media. See, our people, This is why it's so hard to understand why our people don't want to get together. I'm not even going to use, I'm like you, Lance. I ain't going to use that word unity no more. I ain't even going to use that. But just basic common sense that you got a people that have a history of destroying your people, but you don't want to work with your people to try to give a better future, because most of us going to die off before any of this happens. We have an obligation to tell our children real history so that they don't get bamboozled with people lying to them and smiling in their face that they can compete with them on the same level, which they cannot because they don't have the resources to do it. Now, we do. We are the number one consumers here. But if we were manufacturers like our people were back then, who couldn't even read, that established all these stores, restaurants, okay, anything, even banks. But then they tell you, well, these were illiterate people, really? Well, then I guess we need to be literate then. Because we got more educated black folks now than ever in the history of the United States. But again, it's the house nigger mentality and the coonery that has kept our people in this position. So they use the boule, who is the black house niggers. They use them to perpetuate these programs that keep our people in the condition they're in. And again, I said there was a time in American history where you got shot for treason. Okay? So these same house niggers that's selling our people out to this day for this fiat currency because they don't own nothing. Okay? They're going to be dealt with too. Trust and believe. So the majority of us, the 98% of us that are field niggers, then we are left holding the bag and the garbage, okay, that has been created by this evil system. Okay, so let's look at the destruction of black media. Again, we had black newspapers that were printed in several of our major cities, okay, like Baltimore, Detroit, Chicago, New York. We had these, Lance, you familiar with that? We had these black media, okay? So what happened was when the northern bankers started wanting to have these black people to come north and work, they would put ads in the black newspapers in these southern cities. Okay, and this created a schism between them and their white brothers who was in the South that wanted to hold on to their meal ticket. Okay, so they would put ads in the paper letting blacks know that if they came to their state or their city, that there would be jobs for them. And there was a big bet. This was one of the reasons why they started this warfare against black media. Because I'm telling you, black people used to communicate a lot back during that time. Okay. I remember hearing about this slave story where how the blacks would use even their religion to use certain code words for things that they were planning to do. And everybody was on code. This is what we don't have now. This is why we were able to build our own, because everybody was on code. Everybody knew the codes that certain thing. I believe it was from this song. Whenever they sung this song, Swing Low, Sweet Chariot, coming for to carry me home. That was a code for slaves to know that something was coming that night. That they were either Harriet Tubman or other people. And again, she was not the only person. There were a lot of our people that participated in freeing our people from this evil system in the South. Okay, so oh yeah, the cities that I missed was Boston, uh, Oakland, California, LA, Portland, and Seattle. So black people was going wherever. Like for a lot of people from Texas, I missed this, migrated to California. Okay, so okay, yeah. So we talked about that, how this great migration changed things for our people. Many of them had to walk on foot. As as hard as this is to believe, to get from say one city to another city to catch a train, because if they tried to catch a train in the city they were from, many of them were caught and lynched, or put back on these plantations by force. Okay, so let's talk about the four greatest obstacles to real black progress, and then we're going to go into tie this into what's happening with black male masculinity. Okay, so as I mentioned before, the four major obstacles to real black progress that was created from the foundation of systemic racism is housing, and we talked about the origin of HUD and what it did. Employment, how our men are the first, last hired and first fired, and many of them now don't even get hired. We talk about education. You were given an inferior education, not a capitalistic education, because the people from that class were taught how to perpetuate this evil system. They were taught that. But we were indoctrinated to follow rules and regulations. And that if you stepped out of line from these rules and regulations, there was a great punishment waiting for you. So many of our people, were really, as hard as it is to believe. That's why now there's no excuse for you not being aware of these things and what has happened. Because again, when you look back at certain people in their history, they still glorified to this day. But you don't want us to talk about what has happened to our people, and the system you established to do this to our people. You just want to glorify the parts of your history where it made you look like that you produced all this, that you were the intelligentsia behind this, when we know better. This was from the death, blood, sweat, tears, and pain of our ancestors. And I remember Vincent Harding in his book, There's a River. Okay, you cannot, okay, when you look at the element of water, and it's almost like, and when I was sitting out on the river banks the other day, and the wind was blowing the water, and it was going in one direction, I could almost see our ancestors in that water. I could hear them. I could hear their cries. I could see them. And it was amazing that this type of situation was established in a country that is toting the Bible. Okay. There is no other place on this planet that this type of evil was perpetrated against our people. So you can say, make America great again. You can say all this crazy stuff you're saying, but there's a reckoning day coming for what you did to black folks. Trust and believe. The creator creatrix spirit, okay, is not going to let this go, without any. And there is a natural retribution, or karma, as you call it, built into nature. You'll see. You will see. And from the dream I had the other night, you better start running to the hills. Uh, so after World War One in housing, World War Two, blacks were not allowed to move into white areas. Okay, and as I said, this is why they started warehousing our people and building projects. Okay, the other thing they did to destroy um, black families is, so black people originally, they would have like 2 or 3 generations living in the same house, just like people who come to this country today. This is one of the factors behind their success, where you have, generations of people living in the same house, working together. But they said, no, you can't have your grandmama and granddaddy living in here no more. You can't have your parents living in here. And you can't have that man living in here if you're going to get money from us. So they deliberately destroyed black economic strength through a number of things that they did. Okay. And, our government cannot, escape this fact, because it's on the record what you did. White people, you can lie to yourself all you want, okay? And you can talk all this talk about, well, why is black people still complaining? You must have your head under the damn sand, okay? Because you are benefiting directly from the sorrow and pain of our ancestors, directly, okay? So I want to talk about how our people, every generation of our people after the Great Migration, showed progress. Okay, but that progress came because we basically lived in segregated communities. The worst thing that our people ever did was integration. That is the worst thing that ever happened to our people. Now we can't stand each other. We can't live around each other. Okay, we can't even stand the sight of each other. And where do you? And I always like to say what Malcolm said: "Who taught you to hate yourself?" Think about that. But the most critical aspect of this now, moving forward, okay, before we get into how they're trying to destroy black masculinity, is that now we have to recognize again, this is why when you're in a war, you have to identify the enemy. And your failure to do this, okay, has kept us in this condition, because somehow you think by you going to a church and clapping that these people are going to have some type of change of heart with you. And that's never going to happen. And we're selling these same bill of goods to our children. No, they're going to have to fight for everything they get. And they need to know that. They need to know that in every area of human activity, like Dr. Francis Cress Welsing told us, that you're going to have to fight this beast, because it is not going to automatically go away. So you are teaching our children that they should stay in a posture of kumbaya, okay? When they need to have the posture and the attitude that I'm fighting against a system that has destroyed my ancestors. All they have to do is look at the record, or all you have to do is teach them the record, the real record, not this BS that they're feeding you every day. When you tell them the truth, then they have a better chance. Okay, it's like if you know that somebody has betrayed your trust, you're not going to fall victim to this again. Okay. All you have to do is look at the broken treaties. There's a whole record of this, okay? And you can get mad at me all you want. I don't care. There is a record of this evil perpetrated against our people that still stands today. A 450-year record. Now, let's talk about what's going on with what I call this Holly weird mentality. Anytime they parade black men, I noticed over the years, so-called celebrities, they have to have an effeminate posture. You no longer do you see our buff brothers or our brothers who speak about our situations. You don't see them represented in the media anymore. You see the Don Lemons and those type. Okay. But even with him now, I don't care what nobody say, he clapped back at them and he dealt with truth, you know. So, but this is the one thing that is very consistent now. Many of the black male celebrities have to wear dresses. Now, why would you want a grown man, unless you have some type of twisted fantasy, to wear a dress? Who would want that? I don't want to see a grown man in a dress. Why do you want to see him in a dress? There's got to be something wrong with you. But the other thing too is, with this Holly weird mentality, is that anything goes. Okay, the majority of the time, from what I hear and read, is that they have these black men going to these parties, these gay parties, and they have to bow down, okay, to these pedophiles and to these people who are basically transgender, because no real man would want other men to be at a gay party. So a lot of our black men have to go to these parties. Now, somebody told me, I said, well, why do we have all these black celebrities going to these type of parties if they don't have a choice? Are you kidding me? You're telling me that these people who make $10-20 million, that they have to go to these parties? They have handlers that they have to go to these parties? Then they need to dismantle Hollywood if this is the case. Why are they still there? Oh, to be in the movies, I guess. The other thing is, whenever our brothers are in these movies now, they always have to be the one that's the subservient one. They're never in the lead roles. Okay. They always have the same image of Tarzan being the savior of the world, okay, that are in these movies perpetrating a fraud. Okay. That there are no, and believe it or not, all of these so-called heroes like Iron Man and all of these other people they have, this generated from the black culture. Okay, so the other thing that they do too is they masculinize our women. So now you have our women, okay. Now, no other culture of people, their women are allowed to do this, okay. But they're trying to do the same thing to Latinos now. But the one thing about their culture is you're not going to penetrate their familia. And if you try to do that, they're going to come against you real strong. But with us, they separate our women, give them the equivalent status or higher, I mean, not equivalent, the higher status than black males. Because when you live in a patriarchal society, okay, then this is the psychological effemination of our men. That men in American capitalistic society are looked at through their wallet. I don't care whatever other quality they have. So let's stop with these lies. Black men, the majority of black men make less than $40,000 a year. Now, tell me how you're going to have black men who they have regulated to the lowest economic totem pole to sustain their families if they don't have Big Nesh working with them. How is that going to happen? So they use all of these things to demasculinize our men. And it is more it's psychological than it is physically. Okay. Now they can't do it physically, but they can do it psychologically. So this is why you don't see black men in roles where they're being the savior or they're being the ones that are going against the quote unquote bad guys. Okay, which we know who the real bad guys are. Okay, so if you, I remember seeing this movie one time, and they had the black guy in the role where he was the savior, but guess what? He ended up getting killed first. So all of the propaganda that they put out and the psychological terror that they put out, okay, is to destroy black male masculinity. Because when we stand up and say, no, we don't want our kids to be going to the same bathroom, that is going to destroy the psychological or called psychological trauma for young black boys more than it is the girls. Because everywhere you go, you got these super hardcore masculine perpetrating people, okay, that want to be seen as masculine males, okay, the only masculine males in the society. And then you want to make our black men, even the ones who play sports, okay, you want to demasculinize them because whenever they stand up, okay, you want to clap them back, like the situation with Kyrie Irving. Now, that owner, it was a very racist. I don't know how anybody on the Nets could play for him. But the things he said about Kyrie, and I remember when LeBron James left Cleveland and went to Miami, the owner did the same thing. See, and all of this, okay, are shadows, or what I call shadows of the plantation. Because this same system, okay, no matter where you find black men, is in effect. Okay. The other way they demasculize black men is if you can go in any city in this country and you see black men on the street begging for money or walking around looking like Dracula, okay, with clothes that they haven't changed, not able to go. And this dehumanizes a person. But yet you have all this money through taxes and through these other ways that you illegal ways that you get money. Because I remember thinking, I was talking to my boy one day, he was like, where are white people getting all this money from? And why can't we get it? And he was like, bruh, come on, you know the answer to that. 80% of the cocaine that's used and sold in this country is by white people. So I don't care what you say about crack or trying to degrade our people. We know the statistics, okay? So why are they not incarcerated at the rate that black males are incarcerated at? Why is that? So whenever I talk to people, or whenever I see them on TV lying and trying to pretend like they don't know why black people are in the condition that they're in, how can any normal person look at this situation in this system? You basically have to lie to yourself. You basically have to deny reality, and you basically have to deny if you are human or not, okay? Which is still in question, because human beings are not capable of doing this kind of stuff. So you go figure. Okay. And the last thing about this demasculation of our people is that there is a constant attack on black men and our sisters too. Okay. The one thing that they do with our sisters is, okay, now I understand this to this degree, that there are many single black women that have to have some type of backbone because they can be exploited or raped, like our sisters were raped for hundreds of years. Okay, this threat still is out there. They can be put sold into slavery, into human trafficking. Okay, so I understand why because we don't protect our communities like we used to. So we can't just put it all on the sisters now. Okay. But again, my biggest thing is that black men have always, no matter what has been done to us in this country, we still have believed in America, still have fought in your wars, still have done all the things that you indoctrinated us to do in this system, and you still want to oppress us and make us effeminate us and make us look like sissies before the world. And brother, with that, I'm going to end. I don't know how long I've been talking, but
It's never enough. It's never enough.
we need a blowtorch, a fire torch. You know what I'm saying? Because
so fast.
The time go by so fast. I'm like, wow, really? I mean, you know, and the thing that's going on now is the reason why they want to shut down our black media is because now that you have to face the truth, you're not man enough to face it. Okay?
Exactly.
But yet you want us to be man enough to you go out here and commit a crime and see what happens. Your black ass is gonna be under the jail. I don't care how many lawyers you get. Okay. This is their MO, but yet they want us to go to these churches to continue to praise. First of all, why would black people be praising a God that they worship? This has got to be the sickest thing in the history of the world. So you're basically denying, and this is why I always say that black people have to answer to the creator too, okay? Because this is going on too. You have had a long time to come out of this spell, but you continue to follow these evil people. You continue to give them their money. You continue to be their biggest consumers. You continue to believe in all these lies that they're telling you, and you continue to tell our children these lies. No, no, no. There's a reckoning day coming for black folks. And you might not like it. All you got to do is study the divine laws and you'll know what I'm talking about. There is no escapism for this. So the first thing we're calling on them to do is to repent and give us back our land. Okay, that's what you need to do. No black folks could go to no more churches and give no more money until they publicly repent and then give us the $1 trillion that they owe us. No black folks should be going in no churches and giving these pastors, these house niggas, your money for them to give back to them folks who hate us, who's going to use this money against us and our children. And that's real tough. I don't care if you like it or not. Well, this time out for this foolishness, bro. These people are taking us down. I don't know why our people don't want to come out of this fog, but a lot of them are not going to make it. It's just that simple. Because now, if you're still dependent on these same people for toilet paper, for food, for everything, water. When you know that they're putting lead in the water in our community, this has already happened. In Flint, it's happened here. Okay, what is it? Why can't we need to get enough money together and say, okay, in order for you to bring bottles of water in our community, you're going to have to set up a black franchise in our community to do that. Or we don't want you delivering. No, but the reason we can't do that is because the Arabs own all the stores here, and we know that they are puppets of the system. Well, first of all, they benefit from, from aligning themselves with white people, just like these fake East Indian people that's blacker than me and you. Okay.
Tell it.
But they're gonna get their nigger card one day. Just right now, the thing that's saving them is they own hotels and stuff like that. So they're contributing to the welfare of the economy this evil economy. So that's the only, but they're gonna get their nigger card because they're getting too much power. And when I don't care what you think, when you're melanated, oh bro, they're gonna crush them. They're gonna crush them. They're gonna do the same thing to our Latino brothers and sisters. They're gonna crush them. Okay, when they get their nigger card, they're gonna crush. But the one thing that saved them now, again, is a lot of them are coming into the truth. I'm around them every day. A lot of them are waking up to the truth. Okay, but the majority of them are still aligning themselves, okay, with this system. And so what they're doing is they're using them as a labor class like they did black folks. It's the same system, bro. It's the same evil system that only one culture of people is benefiting from. I don't care what you say, how you say it, okay? There's only one culture of people that's benefiting from this evil system that we live under. They know who they are, and you can't tell me nothing if you can't admit the truth. Okay, like my mama used to say, "You're a lie, and the truth ain't in you." Yeah, I'm not trying. A lot of the older black folks, they knew what time it was, bro.
That's right.
And they band together to do things. But now you got all these so-called educated Negroes. I call them deducated. That's out here trying to puff up their egos about how much you know. That shit is not going to save our people. I don't care how much knowledge you have. If you're not speaking truth to these wicked people and holding their feet to the fire, then you're contributing to the downfall of our people. Plain and simple. I don't care how you say it. Oh, I'm sick of them with these lies. And then they get these so-called politicians who are gutless, spineless people that, okay, the people elected you to fight for them, and you go to Congress and align yourself with these other devils that are still destroying they don't care nothing about us. They don't care nothing about our children. If it was up to them, they would kill all of us. That's a plain and simple, brother. And the minute our people come out of this fog and say, okay, I gotta work with my brothers and sisters to try to do something. Because the other thing that's gonna happen somebody was telling me this gonna happen within the next year, in 2024. They're gonna X black folks off all the employment roles, bro. AI can do it. Right now, AI can do everything that black folks are doing right now. And I don't know why we always wait till the crisis hit, the crisis management. Well, one of my brothers used to tell me all the time, bro, you can't be operating off crisis management. Okay, because you can't manage a crisis. Okay, and so I don't know what it is about our people, man, when we keep, when I look at the things that you do, man, and all the work that you put out, I heard something the other day. I was hoping it wasn't true, but now I've heard it from a couple of sources from a man I admire for many, many decades that really opened my eyes. Dr. Claude Anderson had made a statement. Now, this is secondhand knowledge, so I don't know if it's exactly what he said, but this is like the gist of what he was saying. That he has some regrets for spending his entire life trying to help black people. And this is a man that black people should hold up in high regard. Okay, if somebody deserved that, he does. And to hear him say that was kind of gut wrenching for me. Because, you know, here's the disappointing thing. If our people didn't have a way out, it would be different. But bro, we're still spending $2 to $3 trillion a year to the same people that, man, the more I talk about this, it just it stressed me out. So bro, I don't want to talk no more about that.
It hurts. It hurts.
Huh?
It hurts.
It does, man. It does.
I mean, when you
it really does.
That we don't have a modicum of sense that way, it hurts. It makes you, yeah. I mean, look at Claude Anderson for him to say that, right? And
yeah,
I've seen these things on my life, and me at 6, when am I going to see the breakthrough? When? So that's why we have to, like you said, you're not going to say the word unity again. It's falling on deaf ears. They don't have to hear the word. Yeah. They're going to have to feel the word. They're going to have to feel.
They have to feel it. Yeah.
They're going to feel
it's more pain. It's more pain coming. This is just the beginning of sorrows, as they say. This is just the beginning. Because, again, that's part of the judgment against our people. Our people, who are the original people of the planet, that are the guardians of the planet, of the universe, have got to know that they are not going to escape this, because we have dropped the ball too. Not only that, we are not trying to do anything about it. We are going to the same people, giving them all our money. We get paid on Friday, and it's back in circulation on Monday. No other people does this.
I know.
You know, and it's just, but as far as solutions, you know, and this is the part that we always have to come to, we have to look at solutions. I think that if we start out with small groups, like you have with the conversations with people, and our people realize, look, we're the best thing that we have. Stop listening to these people that like all these advertisements that come on about they can teach you to make $1,000 a day and $2,000 a week and all this crazy. And it's always this carrot being dangled before our people. No. The thing that's going to help us is us pooling our resources together, okay, and then purchasing something with it. Again, we have to start thinking about purchasing the institutions that are going to provide for our people. Okay, so look at the people that have businesses in our community. Who do you think they're going to hire? The Koreans going to hire Koreans. You know, black folks going there. Oh, well, there are no black folks working in there. Really? Who own it? The Latinos are going to hire their own. The Asians are going to hire their own. And the Arabs, damn sure, going to hire their own. So where does that leave us and our children?
And we're not going to support and bring our money over there.
Exactly. I have never seen a Chinese person drive 10, 20 miles to go spend money at a black place. Never. I've never seen one of these Indian people drive to a black business to spend money. Our people drive 50 miles to go to one of these places and spend money with them. And they'll drive right past your place. They'll drive right past your place, or they'll give how much? What's the last figure I saw? Every Sunday, black people raise, is it 3 billion?
You
$3
mean the
billion
church?
dollars. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's great, bruh. Okay, now if you can give these people three, because the money that's going to that church is not going to our community. Okay, we already know where it's going. Once it goes to the banks, we know who they distribute the money to. We know that. So why? This is what I call on black church folks to do when you go to church on Sunday. Everybody stand up and say to the pastor, instead of y'all having these deacon meetings behind closed doors and whatever the hell you do, let's do
Sneaking
like
deep.
the Jews and yeah, sneaking deacon. Let's do like the Jews and other people do. Let's put the record out for the people to see where the money is going. Well, we know where their money go because they got it in their community. They got their own banks, their stores, their restaurants. You know when you drive into a Jewish community or Arab or Indian community. You know immediately. Or Chinese. There's a Chinatown in every city. I never knew black folks liked, because our mothers and grandparents grandmothers used to cook the same thing that our people spend all this money on Chinese food for. It ain't nothing but chicken, rice, and noodles. So, miss me with this, man. And it's no excuses that we can make anymore.
Mhm.
We can't make the excuses about no money. We can't make the excuses about no knowledge, because all of this is out on the table now. All of it. So, brother, if you want to bring a couple of people in, we can.
Yes, I dropped the link a few moments ago. I'll drop it again. And
Okay.
there it is. If you want to make a comment or chop it for a little while before Brother Neil Frazier departs this platform, only for a week. And we're going to eat off of this like leftovers because it's fabulous. It really is. And
brother, I want to give you, I just want to give you, excuse me, I didn't mean to cut you off. I want to give you props too, Brother Lance, because see, a lot of times the people like you in our community that put everything on the line for our people go unappreciated, bro. And so I want to let you know today, bro, you are not underappreciated. I know people in the chat room love you and appreciate, but I want to say this so they can hear it.
Mhm.
These white folks and these other people that, try to come against you, that we appreciate our brother. We love our brother. We don't care whether you like it or not. We're going to continue to educate our people and deal with these topics that you refuse to deal with.
That's right.
How about that?
That's right. Brother, we love you too. We love everybody here who took the time to come here. But I know they were tripping over their feet to get here, because what you have to share is important, but it just nourishes us. This is the same. Look at how we feel right now after the words that you shared. This is what I, in my own little way, to bring, like I always say, Black News, McCree Report, Like It Is, Tony Brown's Journal, just all of those programs back in the 70s.
Like It Is. Yes.
Yeah,
Brown.
Yeah, like
yes.
Right.
Yes.
Before I was 7, 8, 9, 10 years old, and I was glued to those programs. I loved it.
Me too.
See, having such a strong connection with Harlem and Washington before we moved out to Queens, I saw these types of people. I saw some of these people, and to feel that even though we had issues and challenges, which I don't like to say problems, it was a love, man. Something.
Yes, it was.
Moved on to the decades coming up, as much knowledge as was put out, it's like we were pulled away. They hijacked hip hop, they hijacked our music, they hijacked our sisters who were performing. They basically had to be a centerfold model before they can share their talents, and knew something was wrong.
Yeah.
What happened back in the day? You had the Supremes. I don't know what Diana Ross looks like half naked. Why do I have to see Beyonce half naked? You see what I mean? So I wanted to. It's not like I can single-handedly do something, but I just want to. If I'm gonna do it, I want to do it in that way. I want to do it with the artwork.
Right.
I want to do it with I want to do it with the shows and letting people come on in and talk community. Even though just the way we have to use the internet. And there's so many
Yes.
people who don't like the fact that we can do it that way. And like what you said earlier about it's mandatory that we teach our children our history, because this is something I want to say that I know a lot of people may not be aware of, because I was going to do like a 10-minute thing on it, but I don't think it warrants even that. I just want to make a statement for 2 minutes. I don't think many of us realize that we're being digitally removed from existence. You know, I've been for a long time, right? And sometimes you search on Google, different photos, different things. Don't you know that Getty Images has purchased so much of our historic photos that if we had to use those, we have to pay them. They don't love us. No, right?
You know, that's just like when they stole all of our artifacts out of Africa. All of the great artifacts from Africa are in British museums, in European museums, all over the world, and in the Vatican, in the basement of the Vatican. Why is that? Because they don't want you to know it.
No, but see, just like with the digital currency coming up, right? It'll be here very soon in America.
Yes.
It's already in Nigeria, it's already in Europe. They can control how you spend, and they can tell you what you can't spend on, and they can penalize you for things that they say you did for crime. They take it right out, and you can be left with nothing. Same with
the social credit system.
Social credit system, a lot online. We're not depending on books anymore. Books is where it's at, because if you upload something, no matter how strong and powerful and edifying and motivating it is, guess what? You'll go there. Like I can go to my site, but they're slowly making it where the people won't see it unless they directly punch into it. It's the same way with me on YouTube, which I'm not going to complain about that, but we have so many thousands of people who follow this platform, but can get 200, 300, 400, 500 hits on a video. Because see, they'll let it sit there, but they'll cloak it where they don't see it. Now the whole digital thing, other people are going to be able to tell our visual story to own the images, classic images of Malcolm X and the Civil Rights Movement, Martin Luther King. The list is vast. And you go search.
I heard about that.
Go search Malcolm X's name in Google and you some classic visuals, Getty Images, Getty Images. Now, what most people don't understand, and they haven't executed, all of these social media platforms, we don't read the fine print. When we upload something to it, we say that's my photo. It becomes their property, but if they want to exercise that, you know what I mean? So it's a compromise with me doing stuff online or doing a visual or whatever, it becomes their property. I know it's a fact with Facebook.
That's something.
But remember,
how is that? How is that?
Well. See, we don't read the fine print. We want to jump into what everybody else is doing, right? So if we write books and put the information out there, they are not going to be able to digitally scrub our information off of the internet because we're there now. Nobody wants to pick up a book. It's always a phone. If you use a phone, if you use the internet, use it to a way that points back to something that you can hold in your hand, something original. The other thing is we don't have to fear artificial intelligence because they can only piggyback off of what was programmed in and what, I mean, hopefully, because they can start lying, right? But they have a way of wanting to face certain things. I've gone on and asked on those things, and they say, as an AI platform, we're not at liberty to say about the suffering of black people, whatever, but they'll give facts other ways. The critical race, but they don't want us to speak about the truth. They're slowly but surely removing that. So some people are feeling no, but going back to the digital thing, and I wanted to bring this gentleman, but I lost this number when I lost that other phone. I hope he hears me. I believe he was in North Carolina, Georgia, in that area. And he has a collection of 70,000 books. This man
How many?
70,000.
I heard you talking about him before.
Yeah. I don't care.
Man. Black people, black books, or just world books?
No, about us. About us and things that came to us, right? So he's telling me, he's saying, like, Lance, many people don't know this, and I'll pass what he said on again. I'm not the one who who knows this stuff. I'm just passing on information. He said that when you get a 5th and 6th and 7th and 8th edition of a book, it's not because why they have new editions. Once you read a book, right? Shouldn't it be just what it was in the beginning? No, I'm gonna tell you what it is. He said like first edition books that may have been written in the 1870s, 1890s, 1920s.
Change the language.
Those people that Kanye West had an issue with, right? I'll say it that way. They go in and buy up all of the books of that first edition and will manipulate somehow. I don't know how they do it legally, but they come out with a second edition with certain information that's crucial.
Yeah, I was familiar with that.
Our original practices were in those books, and they don't want us to know it. So we'll buy a book they say is good and not notice that what our grandmother said about that book is removed, the good crucial parts. So now we're
the same thing they do with the Bible. The same thing they do with the Bible.
Exactly. But
do you know, Lance? Excuse me. Do you know that the first Bible printed in this country, and I meant to say this on the last video, it slipped my mind, was in Algonian, which is a Native American tongue. The first Bible printed in this country was printed in Algonian. This was after they slaughtered these people, these black people. And then they printed for the other people. So the ones that rejected the religion, they was trying to force on them like they forced on us, they killed them. And so once they killed them and the other Algonians saw this, then they had to bow down to them. So, you know, people don't understand this. These people forced this religion down our throats. And you can say whatever the hell you want to, okay? These people forced this religion. The Algonian, you can research it. Bible is the first Bible printed in the Americas, because these Jesuits, they knew that they had to put religion on the native people first, and that's why they come up with this BS about them being savages when they're the real savages. And then they printed it in Algonian, and then all the native Algonians learned the Bible.
Right.
That's how they do it.
Right. But this is very important. You know, back in the day, you remember, if we wanted to do a book report or do any studying for a class project, or just wanted to study on our own independently for whatever reasons we have, as we should, we used to go to the library. If it was raining and we had to go. If it was snowing,
I still go to the library. Right.
If we had and we had to go. But we had to go.
Absolutely.
When we got there, we made the most of what we had to do in there. But we take the information for granted, because before we used to go through rain and snow and can't see morning, can't see night to get to that library. Some people would be there before the library opened up on a weekend, on a Saturday when most people are partying or get ready to do whatever. Those who you go look in the communities that had libraries back in those days. Those libraries that were in other neighborhoods were more utilized and more equipped than the ones that were close to us, unless we were coming into a neighborhood that already had the others already there. And after a while, I remember right where I grew up on 134th Street between 105th and 107th Avenue in Queens. On 130th Street, there was a Dunton Branch Library, 4 blocks from where I lived. I don't think it lasted too much in the early 70s. We then had one on Lefferts Boulevard by the A train down there. And lots of times they play around with the hours and everything like that, but they did not like us coming there. They couldn't, very subtle stuff. There's certain books they didn't have there that we had to go further to take the train to get to certain books that they always didn't have. Right? Digital thing. Our children are into the phones. A book is too corny for them, because see, you can't roll with a book. You can't hear somebody talking with a book. You can't hear music with a book. You can't save one page and go and look at this and look at that. A book requires total focus. So is it a wonder that our youngsters and the younger generations, and some of us who are even older, who got into this thing so much, we have such a short attention span. So you combine those two things, the YouTube shorts for 60 seconds. Yeah, they're little nuggets or whatever, but what is that doing to your mind? Because even the first doesn't satisfy you with what you want to see or what foolishness you want to see. We flick to the next, we flick to
exactly.
So now we with the big backside, now we're gonna hold on to that one. But you do have some that are made truthfully, but a lot of them don't get the hits that they're supposed to get. And a lot of our kids don't want to hear that. Like I said, they don't even know how the baton was passed historically from the generations that preceded us immediately. It's not like they're talking about somebody 300 years ago. I'm talking about having a connection, like say when I mentioned those TV shows, I mentioned the communities that I grew up in and had a connection to. That is in here, and that is in here. See? But there's a disconnect now that has lived over generations. And this next generation, these coming up, do not have that organic connection that they need to have. Because usually you see the grandmama, the daughter, and the granddaughter in the same club fighting for the same man. Jerry Springer, a social experiment, put things in our head. We still have a craving for decadence. And so now they're bringing it to us while they're changing the world fast and coming against us while we don't even know who we are. Critical race theory, they want us to know who we are. They're removing things. So we got to get our hands on books, and brothers like you are valuable and gold. We should have you all over the country speaking, all over the world speaking, because you, even the things you said about slavery and post-slavery, where we leave the plantation, we were free, we had to turn around and go back to the same slave master and pay for the things at a high price that came for free. Like who talks that? Who knows this stuff? We need to put this stuff so we know what's going on in the present day, because we can't. We don't understand. Most of us don't understand what's going on today in relation from that trajectory from the past. We think that's just look. I'm here in Ghana. I'm here in Accra, Ghana. For the Rumble people, I'm not somebody who's just talking. I'm in Africa right now, West Africa. Doesn't mean if you're not there, it don't mean nothing. But I got away from y'all. That's why I talk free, right? Put in my Rumble computer right there too. So all I'm saying is that right now, with this trajectory, they know that it's a big world. They know that who controls Africa controls the world. Yes, there's 54 countries here. Some have terrible regimes, yes, but they know that it's landmass and the people here. In fact, it is the food basket of the world, and it's so lush and you're free from the bull crap in the system. They know that. I'm telling you from now. Yeah, I know I'm blinking out a little bit because I'm talking too much, right? But I'm gonna say this. If Ghana and the surrounding countries, there's a lot of potential, but who's utilizing it? Usually other people. And they're making us feel like there's nothing over here. Me, myself,
all the resources are there.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that I don't have the financial might single-handedly to just turn things around like I wish. They would never have me lottery. You know what I mean? I know what to do. But collectively, we understood that we need to have a connection to a place that's going to be ruling the world, because even the leaders here are marionette puppets for the oppressors behind the scenes. So, they want to destroy what they can destroy of us and this young population that's here, keep us brainwashed with the religion, keep us undereducated and misdirected, because the parts that are going to be affluent, that the oppressors come and take over and have businesses, they're going to rule things. And in another 20 years, 15 years, this is what I see if we don't wake up. So we got to talk to the brothers over here, let them know what's going on. There's going to be drugs. There's going to be gang. It's going to be ghettos over here. Because let me tell you something. The poor people that are over here, it's because of their belief system and religion that they're going to go to hell after they die, so they're going to do nothing bad. If that is broken, I'm not saying the religion is good, but once they break past that, because there's a lot of frustration here financially, they're looking at videos of America. I think America is this great place. They don't understand the trap that it is. And when this they're pushing the LGBTQ stuff over here, in Ghana and Nigeria big time. And like I said, I have my inside sources that tell me a lot of things I can't really reveal because they'll be ass out if I tell. I can't even be publicly associated with them. That's okay because we all have a role in this thing, right? I'm like a public sleeper cell. We have some other ones who are like that too. Now maybe this will get struck down for me saying that, but with the LGBTQ thing, the fertilizers and chemicals that they have us ingesting, right? The things that are put on that are not true, they misdirect us in the school system here. They don't tell you Ghana is bad. They just tell you how good America is. So those who have all the resources, they're hating each other, bleaching their skin, straightening up their hair, wanting to go to America, not realizing that's a dead end, that America wants to take over here and they'll be out. These next 10, 15 years, 20 years is going to really decide what goes on here, right?
They bleaching their skin?
I'm not saying. I see good things, but if we don't make up our mind to go either here or there, that's decided. Because once you go up one road, there's no turning back. No turning back. Because they're not equipped to deal with what we have been dealing with in America with that direct, destruction. Once they do, they just go harder, give more money to the church and hope for the best. They don't understand that they're in a war, right? They want the white woman. They want everything from Europe. They want to go to European schools. They don't want to build here. Understand that even I tell brothers in the street, a lot of them don't want to get on camera. I'm not trying to make myself look any kind of better, but I'm just saying I do a lot of talking out in the street, more talking than what I do in the show. Since I go out there and I get caught up in a conversation with somebody and 2 or 3 hours go by. I'm like, yo, I got to get home and do a show. If I schedule, like if we're doing something, I'm like, man, Frazier's on tonight. I got to get home, right? But they don't understand. They take a snippet of it. And see, this is what I've learned. You got to take your time, right? You can't come strong. They get scared. You're radical. Oh, we have to run away from you. Yo, yeah. But at the same time, before they go to the church on a Sunday morning, they deal with their hocus pocus practices that are not good the night before. Now, this naturally that is good, and there are practices that are good outside of the religion they give us. But we here, I'm just saying we, because I live here now, gravitate toward the other stuff, which shows you they have no belief or no knowledge of the religion that's been given to them. They don't know, but they will not get up and say, listen, let's get 10 of us. Just many of the Indians from India that have high-tech mentalities and education, but they go to America and they say, you know what, we're still going to pack up in this one house, 10 of us, eat one pot, but we put down anybody who's working at McDonald's or fast food. But when they come there, they're saying we're not doing this because we have unity. See, what happened to the American or Caribbean, anything from the West, coming here and saying 10 of us are going to get together and we're going to buy some land collected. We're going to save our money for 3-4 years, all of it, right? And then when we come out there, or we'll come out there and have somebody come out first, purchase a little bit of land, right? We're going to do an Airbnb out there. As we build this place huge, we all going to live in it before we have anybody come in there, right? We can do that. Too many people from the States, they come now, they're individual now, or they act like a group, but they ain't no group because ain't nothing happening big time like that. First thing they want to do is get on YouTube. First thing, we never showed our construction or anything. This has been kind of tough, right? Only we show a little bit after. We're still struggling with that. But everybody wants to be a star when they come out here. And I tell them, I've been doing this. I had over 100,000 followers before I even stepped foot in the motherland. So I'm not trying to come out here to be somebody's prophet, to be somebody's leader, meaning that we all influence each other. I'm not against influencing anybody. But people, I'm telling you, they're crazy out here and they're crazy out there. And I'm going to tell you this, and I'm going to say Americans, right? I'm going to say a lot of Caribbean folk. I used the example before. It's like you want to get away from a roach-infested apartment into this pretty home that has no roaches in it across town. And you pack your bags, you're so happy. You're happy waking up and knocking roaches off your face and whatnot. It's in your food, you gotta pick it out and throw your food out. But then now you move over to this beautiful home.
Take the roaches with you.
Pack your bags, right? Because when you packed your bags, a box, roaches got in there. So you brought the roaches to the new place. They found all the nooks and crannies. Now they're living there with you. What good is it to move to Africa if your mind is still jacked up the same way it was when you were back in America? Why? What's the point? You bring that crap and them attitudes out here. That's why now you see me, I move pretty much solo because I ain't dealing with the drama. People bringing drama and hating on people. I didn't come out. No, I'm enjoying myself because I'm not dealing with somebody else's roaches. Clean your roaches up on the inside in your mind and your heart, and then maybe you can get somewhere. But we're not going to get anywhere at the rate that I see us moving because many of those here are brainwashed, thinking that they're to charge us 5 times the amount for certain things. It's crazy. So we're against each other here most of the time. Yeah, and nobody's talking about it. So wear our necklaces and kente cloth and grow our hair all weird and talk about white supremacy and whatever. But what about the lack of unity for us? We can do if we were tight, just like people who may try to distract me or discourage me, they can't because they can't get in here. I'm a one-man army. And if we all are one man and one woman armies and bring our stuff together, but I'm not dependent on this big windfall or whatever, because the word nigga is there for a reason in 2023. I hate to say it, but there's still much more that even though we have gotten awards and actresses and people in technology and all of this, when it comes down to it, we ain't no different. And we can't blame the white man for a lot of the things because
you can't.
The Indian, like I said, the list of the highest earners in America, and I still have yet to get that list. I saw another program. Number 1, Indians from India. Number 2, folks from Taiwan, Japan, China, Korea, because they know the deal. Even if they have a little dispute between each other, they ain't coming here to indulge themselves in American culture that's gonna mess their kids' minds, and they want to wear new brand stuff. Yeah, we were branded with the master's name on us, but now we don't want to wear nothing unless we're branded with somebody else's name on us. No way.
And you know something? You know something? The way they look at it, they got an automatic $2 trillion windfall every year from black folks. So this is why they know what you like. That's why they keep all this garbage on TV, all of this propaganda, because they know that you are going to spend money with them to try to live up to these images that they have put before you to make you think that you have some kind of value or self-worth. And see, this is this psychological ploy that they've been using on our people. It's like you can use that on a child. You know, but it's kids that can recognize that kind of stuff. Oh no, I saw this little boy on this show one day. He was like, "Oh no, my mama told me not to do that," and he looked like he was about 4 or 5 years old. And I'm thinking to myself, "Damn, there's some of these black adults. Their mama need to tell them something again, because this is ridiculous." You know, and again, it's always a balancing act, because I don't want to try to be too hard on our people, because I know we all are scarred. We all are scarred, bro. Yeah. You know, there's no way around that. But the thing is our people have to hear the truth. Okay, they're so used to hearing lies to stroke their egos and make them feel good. But black folks we got some big challenges ahead of us, man.
Yeah.
And see, big time. The biggest mistake we're making is thinking that these people gonna bail you out when they are the ones that's driving it. I don't care how much they smile in your face. I don't care what they tell you on TV. I don't care what they show you on TV. Okay, black folks are in a lot of trouble if we don't do some significant things right now. We are in big trouble.
See, here's the thing. We're waiting for them to bail us out, but every day we build them up. Every day we build them up. every move.
And see what?
that-
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And the other thing too is they lying about America is like 21, almost, is it 21 or 25,000? I mean, $1 trillion in debt, bro. And we have countries like China that's holding bonds. Okay, that's worth about at least $500 million.
right.
I mean, $500 billion. So, you know, they playing this game, you know, they get on there and smiling, these liars, these politicians, they get on there and smiling like America's all. No, bruh, the American economy is going to take a big hit, bro. All of the economic people are saying this. You, at a point, you have to stop printing money because now these other countries, they're not going to take this fiat currency. Because that's
Right.
what destabilized Central America. We got 60,000 people at the border right here now, bro. At the southern border, Mexican border, the United States. Because they have destabilized that. What is happening to them is going to happen here. Okay?
Right.
Trust and believe.
But
That's going to
because-
happen here.
they're there, and a lot of them are getting in, and
Oh,
and
yeah.
getting welfare and hotels and food stamps and everything.
Yeah.
But let a Haitian come to America, they're gonna turn them away.
Oh,
Treat him
yeah.
like a criminal. That little
yeah.
boy who was on the boat, the little white Cuban boy that came over, right? And he was on that boat.
yeah.
Remember that? It was a long
Yeah, I
time
remember
ago,
that.
right? About 20
Yeah.
years ago.
Was it Florida? Like in Florida or something? Miami, was it that he came to?
Yeah, from Cuba. And they had the
From Cuba,
cameras.
Ilion or something like that?
Yeah, something like that. Right.
Yeah.
But let one of us come over here. Let one of us
Oh.
Haitian come over. Right? So
If you make it on the boat,
eh,
you may
Yeah,
not. You see
so-
some of those boats they be coming over on?
little
on the
small-
ocean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Coming apart. It ends up this
Oh,
big and
my
this
God.
sharks, and I'm not making fun, I'm just saying.
Sharks?
Look.
No.
Yeah. There's a guy, a boxer. Oh, I can't remember his first name, but his last name is Ugas. Ugas. And he came from
Okay.
Cuba, right? Defected from
Uh-huh.
Cuba. Tried several times on the boat, on a raft, and ended up in Mexico. He got sent back somehow. I forgot how the story went. But to even get here, he went through. I mean, I couldn't believe it. This man. No wonder he was such a good fighter. He fought Errol Spence. So if you want Ugas,
Oh, I think I know who you're talking about.
and he busted up. Errol Spence busted up his eye, and everything. But that's the
Yeah,
least
yeah.
of his in his
Okay.
life. If you that man's story, a black man from Cuba, which most of them are black anyway, right?
Yeah, most of them are black.
Testimony of spirit. And I drew so much inspiration from that. Boxing, getting hit in the head, and training and the discipline that comes with that is nothing compared to what he went through. So could you imagine our forefathers and foremothers who came here and were brought here, what they had to go through? And I imagine this every single day whenever I find or feel any level of discomfort that makes another person say, hey, you should take a day off. Ah, you should quit. Do you think that those who were enslaved and brought on the boats were required to have 8 hours of sleep? No. And you stack them up, and the person over you wants to use the bathroom, and your mouth is open and you sleep, you got a mouthful of waste. Could you imagine how it smelled? The women didn't get a chance to take care of themselves. They didn't have any sanitary napkins in that situation. They didn't care. Say, okay, we're handing out toilet paper and a rag with a bucket of water to wash you. Could you imagine how they got the boats and smelled and was sick? And if you were chained to someone who was dead and they wanted to throw them over, they didn't take time. He's alive. They throw a few of you over at the same time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then
they bring them up on the deck and water hose them down.
Right. And you chained up. You know how you feel when a mosquito gets around you, buzzing around your ear. You can't even do nothing about that. Mosquitoes on you, bugs on you, rats. Mosquito buzz in your ear make you start smacking yourself.
Right.
And you
But you
change
changed.
thinking,
Yeah.
hungry,
Oh
Did they
my
spoon
God.
feed everybody? Did you have enough food? Did you have enough protein, carbohydrates, and fats, essential fatty acids, vitamins, and minerals, and water? They didn't stand. We are strong. And that thing, that trauma has been passed into us. So when these white folks are talking, oh, you're talking about slavery in the past, listen, you benefited from it and benefit from it to this day.
Okay.
You benefited from it today.
We need to talk more about it. What happened? Because only a third of it has been told.
Right. If somebody robs a bank and I'm sitting at home innocent and they rob the bank of $25,000 and they swing by there, my buddy, right? Hey, and here's 10,000. Oh, thank you so much.
Right.
I'm home. I don't the bank, but I'm benefiting from it. The bank robbery.
Exactly. That's a good analogy.
From that, because their forefathers didn't do what they did, they wouldn't be in the position they're in today.
Absolutely, 100%.
Right?
Yeah.
It's not me. I don't have any malice in my heart towards you. Well, where the hell are you when things are happening? And
I got black friends.
And the crime, like the person who got the $10,000 for bank robbery. Get out of here. But then now, that's not even the worst part. The system is rigged to keep us from unifying and doing what we need to do. Any time that we have, they got to come with a contract and chain us up. And some of us are so foolish that even on some of these independent platforms that are out there, we need to have our talented artists on there. We need to directly support them.
Yeah.
But we only do so when we see it on the bigger platforms, that they must be something. Look, you can take anybody. Let me tell you something. You, as Neil Frazier, not a rapper, but if you tried to be a rapper and they said, we're going to make him the next star, you're going to be on every billboard, you're going to be on every talk show, you're going to be on everything. People, and you don't even have to rap. They say he going to rap next year sometime. We'll promote him. This is the greatest one. And people be walking around here, man, that's the greatest rapper. They can fabricate anything. You don't even know what you're looking at this AI, which pales in comparison to what they have. Because if they have AI and sharing it with you now, what do they have? They got some old mind control, something or whatever. And people say, oh, you're paranoid. Look at how much the world has changed, even since 9/11, which is what, 22 years ago. That's the year I got online. Exactly. And what they're showing you, what you see. So never not trust your spirit and your instincts. Because if we don't trust that anymore, we'll be back in the same position that we were in on a different level. But now they have the technology to fight us and manipulate and the mind FUCK and to make us fall in line with what they. And too many of us are so stupid. Anything from them we just take in. But somebody like yourself who says something, like the earlier, I'm this sorry, this is so sad, I'm out. Well, get out, stay out, run with them. And when you start feeling the fire up in your backside, don't come over here with us where you know what we're talking about. And to even publicly say it, just ease out. But you think you feel off on us because you want to run back to mass who don't love you. And we talking that real stuff that upsets you and makes you have to think about going to the end of the line in life from everything you were taught, all the lies. And most people can't face that. They can't. I got to relearn that Jesus is not coming for me. I got to realize, oh my God, the founding fathers, founding fathers for us. Those are the terrorists. That's why they're the critical rating. They don't want you to know that there's too much information going on the internet. They're soon going to scrub all this stuff. I might wake up and all these shows have this. So we got to get to books. Yeah, I'm ready for that.
Yeah.
You know, because
the arrows coming at there's so many arrows coming at them now, they can't deflect all of them. And imagine imagine what it takes for you, for not just centuries, for 1,000 years at least, to be able to tell these same lies and pass them down to generation to generation. So those people have to participate in this lie. That's the only reason, the only way it's going to be passed down is they have to accept it. This is why they can't tell you the truth. Because if they told you the truth, then it would expose all of this evil that they have done.
Right.
But they want to be looked at as saviors.
Right. But when you know it, or you're on the path to knowing it even more so, when you go through your day, you spot things that other people don't spot. Like, say, for example, if you're a high detective and you've been taught by, the law enforcement agency, they ship you out to learn here from the different organizations on how to spot certain things, see certain things, body language, a lot of the things that many of us don't know that we walk on past. See, so when you have that truth in your head, it's sweet. It's a good thing. See, some people bite it. I don't want, like the one who came, the one named only left, she took a bite of this and she was out. And you know what? I bet you they're probably still watching it or sitting up, balled up by their couch on the floor. What did I hear? It messed up my mind. And just like a first session of intimate connections that you knew was strange, but you want to go back for more because there was something about it that I liked, but it was strange. So when they get a piece of it, it messes up their mind. So either they have to aggressively go against it, patch it up. You see, because I had people come at me, cuss me straight out in the street. Drive the bus, you waiting for your bus to load up. Oh, I know you. I see you online. I just want to say you're no good for our people. You're messing things up. We need to be all about America. Make America. These white people. I mean, black people. And they see me. And there was one who got on me like that. She was with her. She wasn't the main one. But a few months after that, her son got shot. He survived. She got a NIGGEA wake-up call. And so she started gravitating. She says, I'm seeing a lot of the things that you're saying is true. I said, I don't want it to be that way. That's just the way it is. How are we going to deal with reality when we're sauteed and simmered in fantasy? Right? How we do that? How
marinate your mind.
I ain't got no problem with the fat lady wearing a girdle and looking all slim in the middle. But when you go home and pull that bad boy off and everything starts flying all over the place, understand that you're going to have to still go to the gym or curtail your calories. It's okay to want to whatever, but face the reality at some point.
Exactly.
Improve yourself on all levels. We don't want to do that. The work is too hard.
Wow. Well, brother, it sounds like you did a whole nother show. It sounds like you did a whole nother show. Boy. You know how,
but I
know how you go in.
Out, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I can squeeze one in after this. I'll do something. Get ready positively in about an hour and a half. We'll do that. Maybe I'll record something. But for me, it's always stuff in my head. Boom, 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 boom. I get up in the middle of the night to go use the bathroom. And I'm sitting there like, maybe I need to go and record something real quick or just do something, fall asleep. I'm righteously haunted. And that's the way you got to be in this world, because it's not going to give you anything to know yourself and love yourself.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
That's right.
Even little things you can say to make somebody think, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just
definitely.
You see a little child and this little girl, and you say, you know, you are very beautiful, but not just beautiful physically, you're beautiful. I can tell you have a fresh mind. You're going to be great one day. You have to feed, you don't go out to the garden and just look at the plants. Well, I have spent time with you. Right. Then plants can feed me, water me, put some good fertilizer behind me.
Right.
First thing we do, I call them Venetian blind players in the black neighborhood. Something going down that we need to get involved in. We'll say good morning. Oh, how you doing? Praise the Lord, whatever. But watch folks. Venetian blinds in the neighborhood. That's the household I don't want to hang out near. All your blinds are broken because you peek it out when something's going down. You see what I mean? Girl across the street, young girl, 16, 17, getting smacked up by her boyfriend. Oh, look, he smacked her up. Man, that's bad. As men, hey, what are you doing? She's 16 years old. She's underage. Come out as a man, but you're afraid of getting shot. Well, why aren't they afraid of getting shot? See, we're not trying to shoot each other. But we got to walk with the authority that's creator given. We have it. That's why I don't want to take away on drama. We're supposed to walk out here like punks. No, I walk like I own this place.
Exactly.
I got very good walk. When I walk, it's not some fake whatever, but I carry myself with authority, whether you like it or not. You ain't gonna get away with
Right.
certain things around me. You're not gonna disrespect me or anybody around me. That might be the death of me. I don't know, but I'd rather go out like that.
Absolutely.
Now, if you got 10 machine guns on me, I ain't gonna turn into a Hulk and fight you. You know what I mean?
Right.
I might run, stab you in the eye with a pen, but you know, I can look. We gotta be as treacherous for righteousness as they are for the decadence and the treatment today. We gotta be just as vicious. And we gotta know that this is a war, slow burning, fast burning, unknown and known. We gotta know this. You gotta be ready at all times on all levels. Right now, I'm in this apartment and I'm relaxed, but I'm not that. Somebody can bust through that door right now. You think, you bust through the door, I'm coming at you. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm gonna grab some, whatever. You got to be ready to fight on all levels.
Oh yeah.
Because if
no question.
It's gonna shrink wrap you. It's gonna shrink you. It's gonna shrink you. It's gonna minimize you. I'm looking for the change. Looking for the attitudes and the propaganda. I'm looking to smash it. You walk like that after a while. These entities who are hell bent on trying to pull the covers over your eyes, they say, "Oh, leave that one alone. He ain't going for it. Leave it alone."
Oh yeah.
They see me here going to the mall. They got their Bibles, and I let them talk sometime, and I'll talk right back with them. And when they start thinking, "Oh, yeah, I gotta go. Wrap it up today." Next time they see you, they put the Bible away, act like they, "How you doing?" They don't want to say nothing. You know my spirit. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
You have to be.
I know you be cutting them, bro.
So other things you ain't gonna see on video, because when they see you whip out, they're like, "Oh no, the conversation gonna end." All right, you gonna say this on the camera?
Right. Yeah. Can you say that again? Yeah. Well, brother, I got to get out of here. I enjoyed my connection with you today.
Yes.
And
yes.
So I'll be tuning in, man, and listening to the programs that I can catch. And again, brother, appreciate all that you do and giving me an opportunity to speak to the family. And you always bringing programs. Yes, sir. Bringing programs that benefit us.
That's right.
So keep up the great work. Say hello to the queen for me. And I'll be ready to do battle with you again next week.
I'm counting down and I can't wait. And I know this next 7 days is going to feel like 2, because that's all I'll be thinking about.
That's right.
Seriously.
That's right.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Definitely. Thank you so much, brother. It's always a pleasure and an honor. And the work you do is much appreciated. And I know these other platforms we're sharing it is an eye-opening thing. Even if they want to cuss us out and say they're going to listen because they know it's the truth. The critical race theory is just here. Yeah. We're going to keep more. I mean,
yes,
that's
sir.
right. Knock it out.
Okay.
All right, brother.
Yeah. Right. All right, brother. Well, take care. And I'll be trying to keep up with you as the days go by.
I'm gonna put out a lot this week.
Okay, brother Lance.
Thank you so much. All right. Peace. I don't want to mess up the flavor of all that Brother Neil has put down, so I'm not gonna stay as long. I think I stayed the extra 2 hours until the show's off. So I say, okay, we're gonna wrap this down because we have Positively Angela, and I might make a recording or two before she comes on that might not play until tomorrow or later on or whatever. You know, it's a constant state of doing stuff. I'm refreshed. I feel good. My mind is open. My time is open. And I just want to thank you all for your support on all levels. Support is not just monetary, but it's sharing of, content, or even telling people, like mixed genre faves and just everything that everyone does to help me do this. And it's not about me, but, it has my name on it, but it's a platform for all of us. And anybody out there that wants to interview or share their story, or if you get some clips, unique clips, talking to people, do it in a landscape mode. Here's my phone. Or here's one of them. Don't do it this way. Do it this way, right? You do it this way. That's a landscape mode. This way is like the Facebook where you get more than it fills up the screen. But you know, that helped me out a whole lot too. From all over the world, there's people that want to share stuff. You tell them, just if a 10-second clip, 60-second, 5-minute, whatever have you, I'll take it. I give you credit for it with your social media platform or whatever, and we'll put it up. We got to reach out to the people and do things in a more realistic way while we have this sword that was created by them that we can chop their head off with their stuff. That's right. And I do mean that. So I'm going to shut up right now and end it. I'm going to put this back up so you can see it. And I'll play a few songs and then we'll be out. But remember, and I said 12, that's 12 for me. Actually, it's 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time for Positively Angela, 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time on the East Coast of the United States. And she will be back. And I'm looking forward to speaking with her. I have to make a banner for her. The link is out there already on the page, on the LanceScurv YouTube page. And I'll be distributed in that and everything. And I have to still have a few words to speak with her on certain things. If you wanted to go to the conference line, you all can go to continue this energy, 321-521-2515. And you can also go to LanceScurv.com, scroll down a little bit, and when you see the same number, click on it. It will bring you directly to, without having to make a phone call, no matter where you are on the whole planet. You can still participate without any charges anywhere. And this number brings no charges in the United States. And there are a slew of numbers that you can use, but the easiest way is to click on, when you go to LanceScurv.com, on the home page, you scroll down to where you see this tab or this number and just push it. And whatever you're on, computer, tablet, or phone, will bring you there. And it'll give you the option to call in or just go straight in, just the same way that you go to a site on the internet. So there's no charge whatsoever to indulge. Sometimes we go there, sometimes we're a little tired, we don't. It's okay, it's a gamble, but it's always good conversation that we continue to have on there. And usually I put those up on Patreon or on the YouTube channel, depending on, you know, what's needed. I need to fill up that Patreon even more so. So I'm going to be coming up with some radical stuff starting tomorrow. And just thank you for all the support that you do on so many different levels. And that's all I can say. I mean, I'm really appreciative of that. And it makes what I do, I'm driven to do this. There's no secret agendas or hidden motivations. I'm not trying to be famous with it. No, if you have somebody worthwhile, you want to come on and say something, I'll set it up and you shine. I'm here to make everybody else shine, as long as they bring truth and help us to open up our minds and become better people and to be able to live a better life while we do have the cross threads pointed at us and aimed at us. We will still survive. We've been here before. This is our planet. We're the original people, and it's not like the sun don't like us. The sun don't burn us. Our birth rates ain't going down. So, you know, I guess they want to bring us down with them, but they can't do that. There's too many of us. We're too smart. Some they will get out of ignorance, but they're not going to get all of us. And for those of us who survive, we're going to bring our generations into the future and be able to look back on this period and say, wow, we came through so much. Let's have the unity we have and continue on to make our Creator happy about us being here. Anyway, I'm going to play the song, and I'll play with the favorite songs. I'm going to let this song play first because I'm still in the war mentality, right? Okay, here we go. Much love, y'all. I will talk to you with Positively Angela at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Peace.
tryna do more for the soul, way less for the bread. Yes sir, I take pack to the lung, to the stress, to the head. I see the things that they do way less than they see. Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside, baby. A war on the real, baby, look out. Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out. Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out. Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out. Can't be a real nigga like real nigga can't hit you. Fuck the whole system, need to shit this man too. Coppers treat a nigga like the utmost wanted. Tryna rule the block but don't know what goes on it. News got a story with a new take on me. Peering out the window with a screw face on me. But I know that God love me when my blood burn. 95 degrees and I can't get sunburn. Wonder when your government don't make me legal. Burn the whole city if I can't be equal. Get off my dick please, Brad, I earn that. 400 years, hope still ain't learned. I take pack to the lung, kill the stress to the head. I'm tryna do more for the soul, way less for the bread. Yes sir, I take pack to the lung, kill the stress to the head. I see the things that they do way less than they say. Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out. Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out. Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out. Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out. Shout out to the crackers, trying to gentrify the genre. Tell them free my niggas, middle finger to your honor. In the days coming down the seconds on the timer. Goofy niggas still trying to purchase that designer. About to buy a chopper, learn to grow my own food. Cause I don't like the look they give me in the whole food. And when you stay ready, you ain't gotta get ready. But it ain't on me now, I'm limping cause my dick heavy. But ain't shit sweet, niggas think we thin. My whole attitude on MC Red. It's my neighborhood now, Pop, I bought that. 400 years, I still ain't caught that. I take pack to the lung, kill the stress to the head. I'm tryna do more for the soul, way less for the bread. Yes sir, I take pack to the lung, kill the stress to the head. I see the things that they do way less than they say. Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out. Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out. Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out. Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out.
I still got to get to the bottom of that situation. I'm going to end it right now, but I'm going to get it. I got too much cross wires and everything here, but anyway, I'll see you all 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I still got a few things to do over here, and it was a great show, and it's going to be even more great show. Who knows? We might go live after that. Anyway, peace, love, and tranquility, good health, good vibration. If we show the unity to each other who have sense to know about this, then nothing they can do can bring us down.